This is Jayapai speaking. In this class, let us study something about determination of sulfate in water by gravimetric method. In our previous class, we studied something about desalination of water by reverse osmosis. Assuming that whatever you studied in the previous class, you have understood it thoroughly. Now moving on to a new topic, that is how to determine sulfate in water by gravimetric method. This gravimetric method is a very new word. It is not so familiar word for you because you have not studied any determination so far by this method. So you have to know this method completely, starting from principle, procedure and calculations. Not only for the sake of getting marks, that is in the examination you have to know this, but also for the sake of knowledge that there is something called a gravimetric method. You have to study this. Now let us see the principle. Gravimetric method, it is widely used for the determination of sulfate, especially when the sulfate concentration is above 10 milligrams per milliliter of water. When the sulfate concentration is above 10 milligram per milliliter of water, then this gravimetric method is highly recommended procedure. And moreover, in this particular concentration, this gravimetric method gives highly accurate results. Now, how exactly sulfate ions are determined by this method? Sulfate ions, they are precipitated by the addition of a barium chloride solution. That means all the sulfate ions present in the water sample, they are quantitatively precipitated by the addition of a precipitating agent called barium chloride, that is BaCl2. And the precipitation becomes highly effective when it is carried out under perfect acidic conditions and near the boiling point. Therefore, the water sample has to be acidified, that is by adding a concentrated hydrochloric acid, and the solution is kept near the boiling point when the precipitation is carried out using the precipitating agent, that is barium chloride solution. Here our aim is to convert all the sulfate ions into barium sulfate. We want to see that sulfate ions completely get precipitated as a barium sulfate. So barium ions, they are from the precipitating agent, sulfate ions from the water sample. So sulfate ions react with the barium ions and all the sulfate ions quantitatively get precipitated, and this is a white PPT. And this precipitation has to be carried out only in the acidic medium. Suppose the water is highly alkaline, near the boiling point temperature, barium carbonate may also get precipitated in addition to barium sulfate. To avoid this or to eliminate this, the sample has to be acidified strongly so that barium carbonate doesn't get precipitated, only barium sulfate gets precipitated. And to make sure that sulfate ions precipitate as completely as possible, we have to add excess barium chloride. To precipitate sulfate ions quantitatively, that is as completely as possible, excess barium chloride is used. So points to be remembered: barium sulfate precipitation is carried out by using the precipitating agent, that is barium chloride. Barium chloride reacts with the sulfate ions present in the water sample, and all the sulfate ions are quantitatively precipitated as barium sulfate. The water should not be alkaline. If water is alkaline, then near the boiling point temperature, barium carbonate may also get precipitated. To avoid this, the sample has to be acidified and solution has to be kept near the boiling point, and the precipitator, to make the sulfate ions precipitate as completely as possible, excess barium chloride is used. Now moving on to the procedure. Now here first we have to take 200 ml of the water sample, that is to be taken in a clean beaker. Now you have to add 2 drops of methyl red indicator to it, and then concentrated HCl to be added drop by drop until the color changes from red to orange. This is a clear indication that now the pH of the water sample is 4.5 to 5. We have to maintain this pH, that is because only at this pH barium sulfate gets quantitatively precipitated. So effective precipitation takes place at a pH value of 4.5 to 5. So in the beginning 2 drops of methyl red indicator are added, then concentrated HCl is added drop by drop till the color changes to orange. And this pH adjustment we need not do only by adding methyl red indicator. It can be done with the help of a pH meter as well. And after setting the pH to this range, 2 drops excess concentrated HCl are added because the sample has to be highly acidic so that barium carbonate doesn't get precipitated. Now it is heated to boiling. The solution needs to be heated to boiling and it is continued heating until the volume reduces to 50 ml. Initially we have taken 200 ml of the sample. Now we are heating it to boiling and we are reducing the volume from 200 ml to 50 ml. Now the solution is highly concentrated. At this stage 10 ml of barium chloride solution is to be added dropwise with constant stirring. So we have to keep on stirring the solution and we have to add barium chloride in a dropwise. And what happens when barium chloride is added? These barium ions will selectively react with the sulfate ions and make all the sulfate ions precipitate as a barium sulfate. Now the precipitate barium sulfate thus obtained, it is to be digested for about 2 hours around 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. It has to be kept around 80 to 90 degrees Celsius for about 2 hours and then it is allowed to stand until the precipitate settles down. We have to make sure that entire precipitate has settled down. After that we have to filter that precipitate using a specific filter paper, that is Whatman filter paper number 42. It is Whatman filter paper number 42, that is ashless filter paper. This filter paper, it is very useful as it is very apt filter paper for the filtration of barium sulfate especially. And the porosities of this filter paper that is best suited for the filtration of that is barium sulfate. That is why this type of filter paper is being used. After quantitative precipitation and filtration, the precipitate is washed several times with the distilled water. Now the precipitate needs to be washed several times with distilled water and we have to make sure that the washings are absolutely free from chloride ions. The filtrate whatever we are getting, the clear filtrate whatever we are getting, it has to be absolutely free from chloride ions. Till then the precipitate needs to be washed with the distilled water. And after the complete, after that water completely drains out, then filter paper along with the precipitate is transferred carefully into a previously weighed Gooch crucible. Here something called a Gooch crucible we are using. Gooch crucible is nothing but silica crucible. It is a silica crucible and first we have to take it and empty crucible along with the lid we have to weigh. Empty crucible along with the lid we have to weigh and we have to record the weight. And after that the filter paper along with the precipitate has to be transferred carefully into this Gooch crucible. And this Gooch crucible, then it is ignited in a muffle furnace at around 800 to 900 degrees Celsius till all the traces of the filter paper are burnt. Either you can keep it in a muffle furnace or you can heat it electrically to that high temperature so that traces of filter paper are completely burnt. The crucible is then cooled in a desiccator. It is then removed from the muffle furnace and kept in the open for some time and then it is cooled perfectly by keeping it in a desiccator and it is finally weighed. That Gooch crucible is finally weighed along with the precipitate and let the amount of barium sulfate precipitate be W gram. Initially we have weighed Gooch crucible along with the lid that is empty. Later with the precipitate we are weighing it. So first weight let it be W1, second weight with the precipitate let it be W2. Now the difference between the two readings W2 minus W1, it will give you the precipitate weight that is W gram. Now what are the various steps involved in the gravimetric analysis? First we have to prepare the sample. We have to take the water sample containing sulfate ions. Then we have to add precipitating we have to make it acidic by adding concentrated HCl. We have to kept it near the boiling point, and then we have to bring about a precipitation, that is by adding the precipitating agent, that is barium chloride in this case. And then once the precipitation is done completely, the precipitate thus obtained is to be digested for about 2 hours at a temperature of around 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. Later it is allowed to settle down for 2 hours, and then it is to be filtered, and the filter precipitate is to be washed several times with distilled water until the washings are absolutely free from chloride ions. Then that filter paper and the precipitator, both it is to be transferred to a Gooch crucible, and it is subjected to ignition either in a muffle furnace or a electric furnace, and it is to be dried, and then it is to be weighed, and further we have to do calculations at the end. This is one picture. Just imagine that this is a barium chloride solution you are adding, and this is your water sample, highly acidic, containing sulfate ions, and it is kept near the boiling point. As soon as you add this, you get barium chloride white PPT, and then you are allowing that PPT to settle for 2 hours, that is 80 to 90 degrees Celsius. You are digesting it, and you are allowing it to stand for 2 hours till the precipitate settles down, and then you have to transfer it or you have to filter it using a Whatman filter paper number 42. Carefully you have to filter out, see that you are not losing any amount of the sample. And while transferring this is the filter paper, and here you are getting the filtrate. These are whatever washings, how many times you are washing here, filter, precipitate, all the washings come down here. These washings should be absolutely free from chloride ions. Your precipitator will remain here. So this is your barium chloride precipitator. It needs to be washed several times with distilled water, and this washings to be tested for chloride ions, and it has to be absolutely free from chloride ions. After that, this filtration can also be done using a Buchner funnel. It is something called a vacuum filtration. Effective filtration can be carried out even by this method. Earlier method is comparatively slower, but this method filtration takes place quite quickly. And in this case, the filter paper has to be taken in the circular form, whereas in the earlier case it can be taken in the conical form, cone form. Okay. And now after the complete precipitation, once that water gets drained out completely, that precipitate along with the filter paper, it is to be taken in a Gooch crucible. It is a previously weighed Gooch crucible, that is along with the lid. You have to open the lid and you have to transfer that precipitate along with the filter paper. Either you can keep this Gooch crucible with the precipitator, that is in a muffle furnace, and it has to be kept there for some hours, say some 2 to 3 hours at 80 to 800 to 900 degree Celsius, and till the filter paper gets completely burnt out, or you can heat it, that is electrically also this precipitate can be heated up to that high temperature. So from the muffle furnace, that Gooch crucible, it is to be removed, and then it is transferred to a, it's kept in the open for some time, and then it is kept in a desiccator. Desiccator actually cools the sample, and here you have a drying agent. It absorbs all the moisture present in it, and it is perfectly cooled. And after cooling, that precipitate, when you remove it from the desiccator, it will be absolutely dried form, and it is a dry PPT, that is dried barium sulfate PPT you will get, and along with the lid you have to weigh it again. Whatever value gets displayed, it is the final weight of the barium sulfate plus Gooch crucible. Now previously weighed weight, that is W1. Now the final weight, that is W2. Difference between the two readings will give you the weight of barium sulfate precipitate. Knowing the barium sulfate precipitate weight, you can calculate what is the amount of sulfate present. See, barium sulfate, the molecular weight is 233.4. 233.4 gram is the molecular weight of barium sulfate. In that, sulfate is only 96.06. So you say that 233.4 gram of barium sulfate contains 96.06 gram of sulfate. I repeat, This is the total weight of barium sulfate. Out of that, sulfate is only 96.06. Hence, you can say 233.4 gram of barium sulfate contains 96.06 gram of sulfate. But whatever weight you have got, that is barium sulfate W. W is the weight of barium sulfate that you have got from the by the difference of the two weights, that is final weight minus initial weight. This much weight of barium sulfate contains how much gram of sulfate you have to calculate. This is just the cross multiplication. 96.06 into W divided by 233.4 gram of sulfate is present in W gram of barium sulfate. W gram you have got it in the experiment, and this W gram of barium sulfate you have got it when you have taken 200 ml of water sample. So in the beginning you have taken 200 ml of water sample and carried out the entire procedure, and you have got W gram of barium sulfate, and you have calculated that this much gram of sulfate is present. So you can say 200 ml of water sample contains this much gram of sulfate. So this is nothing but this entire value we are taking it as M. So you can say that 200 ml of water sample contains M gram of sulfate. And suppose you want to calculate in a liter of water how much sulfate is there. So 1000 ml of water sample contains how much gram of sulfate. So you need to do the cross multiplication again. 1000 into M divided by 200 you have to do. That becomes 1000 M by 200, that is equal to 5 M gram of sulfate. This is not to be read as 5 milligram, it is 5 M gram of sulfate. So by knowing how much weight of barium sulfate we have got, we can calculate how much amount of sulfate is present. This entire method is very easy. Only 3 steps. You have to take the water sample, you have to precipitate all the sulfate ions as a barium sulfate. You have to note down what is the weight of barium sulfate, and knowing the weight of barium sulfate, you find out what is the amount of sulfate present in the water sample. I think I have made all the points very clear to you. Still, in case if you have any doubts regarding this, anytime you can call and get your doubts clarified. Please study this one for the sake of knowledge, because you have not studied this kind of method earlier. And as far as examination point is concerned also, this is important, and practice well principle, calculations, procedure. Okay, thank you.